Happy New Year, guys! I'm back again. I know it's been a while that I've been here, but I'm happy to tell you that I am back for this year. Oh, I met you well, and I'm fine too. I know you're asking, so I'm answering. I'm fine too, and we thank God for this new year, and I hope that it's going to bring good tidings. I hope this year is going to be for the better. It's going to bring better things to us. Okay, so without wasting too much time, let's go straight to Diane's fantasy. We stopped at episode 6 last year, and so we're going to start episode 7 today. And before I go into it, I need to show you this. This is Diane's fantasy. This is it, Diane's fantasy. So you can get your copy on Amazon. I'm going to leave the link at the end of this episode, so you can get your copy on Amazon. If you are in a hurry, you can listen to us finish the episode and you want to know what ends it, so you can get your copy of my book, Diane's Fantasy. But when you get your copy, don't come here and give us spoiler alert. We don't want spoiler alert at all. But you can get your copy on Amazon if you need one. And I'm happy to tell you that I have published another book titled Short Diary of Ejima. Like its title, it's a short story. It's a very short story, but you are going to enjoy it. I will leave the link at the end of this episode too, where you can get it's on Amazon too. So I'll leave the link there for you to get your copy. And of course, don't forget about Sheila. Sheila is also another book written by me, and it's on Amazon too. So you want to get any copy of my books, just go to Amazon and search for the title or search for my name. You'll get the books that I've written on Amazon. So let's go straight into today's episode, which is episode 7. Last time we stopped at where Diane's friend Chanel was advising her to be serious and do whatever they are doing about getting married and be fast about it. So we're going to go straight and continue from there. Episode 7 and chapter 9. Vanessa visited Rick in the office again, but Rick wouldn't let her breathe, as he couldn't make a sentence without Diane's name in it. She's just so lovely. I can't wait to finally have her as mine, he smiled in his thoughts. Vanessa stared at him with a side-lip smile. I love her so much than life itself. He looked at Vanessa, and their eyes met. Vanessa smiled and felt uneasy. She stood up, fiddling with her fingers, and walked to the window absent-mindedly. Rick became a little confused, noticing her actions. Are you alright? Vanessa released her fingers and comported herself, laughing nervously. Yeah, I'm fine. She looked at the window and was overwhelmed with the view. Wow, what a view. She could see from the 5th floor the top of houses in Harry and nature's beauty. People walking, cars moving, and all. Do you see this? What? Rick asked. Rick never even noticed anything apart from his work and Diane, so asking that question was actually an odd one for him. Vanessa gestured with her hand. Come see. Rick rose and went to her. He looked outside, standing beside her. Vanessa looked at him. Don't tell me you miss this kind of view. Rick looked at her in confusion and then outside. He saw nothing. He looked at her again in amazement and then looked outside again. Still he saw nothing. He didn't even know where exactly to look. To him, Vanessa was the only sane one in the room, if anyone asked. Vanessa gazed at him, seeing his facial expression. Rick saw that and quickly adjusted into her world. He chuckled lightly, and she was okay with that. The view is lovely, she admired. Yeah, it's cool. He responded with his hands in his pocket, taking a silly peek at her. He shook his head, wondering if all women are like that, amazed at every little thing or at nothing. Vanessa looked down the building, then rushed back to pick her purse and bag on the chair. She tucked her hand inside her purse and pulled some notes out. And she threw the notes down the window with smiles. What are you doing? Rick cautioned. Watch this, she said, grinning. She couldn't be happier they finally changed topic from Diane. They looked down the window, watching. Two guys and a lady were passing by when the money dropped. They looked up, but couldn't see a thing. Then the guys rushed after the money while the lady stood hesitating, watching the guys. Vanessa laughed at that, and Rick raised his brows and giggled in amazement. Give me. She held her hands out, as if expecting something from him. What? Rick asked. Come on. She tilted her head sideways, urging him to answer her, and he understood. Rick dipped his hands into his pocket and brought out a bundle of new notes. He pulled some out of it and gave it to her, as she scattered it out of the window piece by piece. The guys were about walking away when the note started falling. They looked up and saw it raining down. The lady, without hesitation, rushed for it. Soon there were a crowd kneeling for the money on the ground. Vanessa and Rick laughed their hearts out watching them. Oh man, I saw this in a movie and I didn't know they actually felt this way when they were doing it. This is fun, she said amidst laughter. Yeah, it is, he said, laughing. It's good to do this once in a while. Yeah, he nodded, looking down the window. Where did you say you saw this? In a movie, she replied amidst laughter, looking down the window. Oh, what's the title? Don't remember. Rick laughed, still looking down the window. I can't wait to do this with Diane. Vanessa changed instantly. Her face turned red, staring at him. But he was busy enjoying his view down the window to see or notice her. She would laugh her ribs out and I would be happy watching her laugh. Stop! Vanessa snapped. He jolted slightly and looked up at her. He withdrew his laughter abruptly. Just stop! Can't you make a sentence without mentioning her name? Rick looked confused. They gazed at each other for moments. She then strode to grab her bag on the chair and made her way out. Rick rushed after her and grabbed her arm. He searched through his eyes and she looked down, hiding her face from him. What is it, Van? Are you alright? No, I'm not! Vanessa snapped with tears clouding her eyes. I'm not alright. She snatched the arm from his hand, but Rick held on strong. Is it not enough that I got here late? And you're engaged already? Now you have to torture me with a name anytime I'm with you. Rick furrowed. I just can't bear it again, she continued. I can't hide it anymore. I try so hard, but I can't. His voice broke and her resolve weakened. What are you saying? What can't you hide? She cried. The fact that we were so close. The fact that I spent more than half of my years with you. The fact that I've loved you from the moment I set my feet on this planet Earth. And I still do. Rick released her arm instantly, shaking his head and stepping backwards. folding and unfolding his palms reflexively. "You meant it. You meant every word," he said under his breath in fear and astonishment as he absent-mindedly stepped backwards. Vanessa rushed and grabbed his hands, talking in rush, trying to get to him as if by putting the normal space and punctuations in her words could make Rick change his mind of agreeing to her if he ever was to. "And I know you still do too, like you used to. I know you still love me, you just don't know because I was so far away." Rick shook his head dumbfounded, trying to twist himself from her hold, but she held on tight. "I went so far away and I'm so sorry, but now I'm back for you and never to go away again," she sniffled. "We can start from where we left. I love you, Rick." No. No! Rick snatched himself away from her and she jolted. "I can't." She resumed, stepping backwards till the table stopped him. He looked at the table and rested his hand on it, with the other hand rubbing his head in confusion. He was so disoriented and confused. Vanessa stood still and wept bitterly. She shed tears profusely. Rick looked at her and she sniffled and wiped her face with the back of her hand, and then she stormed out of the room. Rick stretched his hand as if to stop her, but he couldn't utter a word. He folded his palm and jerked as Vanessa slammed the door behind her. Rick pushed into the house with his suitcase. He dropped the suitcase and grabbed Diane's arms. Diane wondered at him. It was obvious he was bothered about something. "Are you okay, my love?" she asked. "Let's get married," Rick said, looking into her eyes. Diane frowned at him. She didn't know whether to be happy or be worried. Mrs. Vaughn couldn't be happier with the news. She talked with excitement. "I'm taking many IVs. I have lots of people to invite. I will invite the whole Trace staff." Rick watched his mother as he sat on the floor with his side resting on the sofa she sat on. Diane walked in towards them with a package of clothes in her hands. "The old Trace down?" Rick chuckled lightly. "She's so much sure it is that Trace town of hers, whereas it's just a village, nothing close to a town." Diane laughed and Rick chuckled. Mrs. Vaughn pushed Rick's head. "It's your town too, silly. And don't be too quick to laugh because she's laughing at your silliness." Rick wondered if that was true. Diane laughed again. He forgot that fact. "And Trace town is a town, another village. I'm inviting a whole lot of people, whether you want it or not. You know, Mrs. Dan will want to come too." "Mother, we haven't printed the cards yet. We haven't even picked a date. We just told you we are ready," Rick said. "Mom, you're going to have as many IVs as you want, just to mention," Diane said, taking a seat beside Mrs. Vaughn on the same sofa, with her leg folded on the sofa and the other one behind Rick on the floor. "Do you even need IVs for that? I think what you need is a public address system," Rick said, smiling. The women looked at him and Diane shook her head in pity for him and turned to Mrs. Vaughn. "Yeah, Mom," Diane gave her the cloth. "What do you think?" Mrs. Vaughn checked the cloth out. "This is beautiful. Who picked it?" Chanel did. "Wow, she has eyes for beauty," Diane laughed. "You can say that again." "You are picking the date for us, Mom." "Of course I will. I just have to talk to the Reverend Father first so he could pray over it." "Okay." Rick looked up. "Is that necessary?" The woman looked at him in awe. "Of course it is. Everything needs prayer, especially on an occasion like this one. We need God to go before us and even with us. I taught you that." "God, Diane, what is this boy turning into?" "He learns slow, Mom." Diane laughed. "Come on, Mother. I was just pulling your legs. You should know I wouldn't do anything without God's consent. I wouldn't kick against that opinion of yours." He chuckled and put his head on her laps. Mrs. Vaughn smiled and caressed his head on her laps and pulled on Diane's head gently to her chest. "Come here, my baby." She caressed their heads with smiles. "This, will be the best on planet Earth." and no man will come between you two. Nevertheless, God's will prevail. Amen. Thank you, Mother, they shared happily. I need to rest. I'm so tired, Mrs. Vaughn said. I'll get your bath ready. You need to shower after the journey. Rick sprang up. I'll prepare you something to eat, Diane followed. And about the public address system, get me 20, Mrs. Vaughn said. Rick and Diane stepped on it instantly and turned back to her in shock, with their eyes widened at her. Mrs. Vaughn nodded up at Rick. What? 20? I was only joking around, Rick said. I know, Mrs. Vaughn responded rather sharp. Rick was confused at her response. He furrowed at his mother, who seemed not to care, and was already stretching herself on the sofa, which made Rick more confused. Diane burst into laughter watching the scene and walked away. Rick frowned at the two of them and slowly turned around and walked in, still trying to wrap his head around what just happened. Mrs. Vaughn smiled with a tinge of chuckle as she watched him leave. Few preparations started while they awaited the date from their mother. Diane couldn't be happier, but as happier as Rick could have been, he was always in thoughts and absent-minded almost all the days. He sat up in the living room, lost in thought. He couldn't take his mind off Vanessa since the day she sprouted those words at him when she visited his office. Vanessa's words echoed in his head. The father we were so close. The father I spent more than half of my years with you. The father that loved you from the moment I set my feet on this planet Earth, and I still do. He moved his head sideways, looking so disturbed. I went so far away and I'm so sorry. But now I'm back for you and never to go away again. I love you, Rick. She sighed heavily. I love you, Rick. The words echoed in his head. Rick couldn't help but remember the pain he had gone through years back. The pain he had tried so hard forgetting. Burying it deep in his soul. And he succeeded with Diane's love. Only for Vanessa to appear and open all his wounds. All the memories he had buried deep in his soul. A tear or two clouded his eyes at the thought of the incident. He would give anything not to remember this now and forget it forever. Okay guys, that is it for today on episode 7. So I hope you enjoyed it, and of course join me next week for the next episode of Diane's Fantasy. Don't forget, you can get a copy on Amazon. I'm going to leave the link at the end of this episode. And once again, please guys, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and give thumbs up to this episode, this video, if you enjoyed it. I hope you really enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel guys, and click on the notification button in order to get alerted every time I upload any video. So once again, thanks for your time. See you next week. Ciao. Don't forget I love you. I love you so much, so much. Bye.